This episode of Small Business Leaders Podcast is brought to you by Adams Lane Photography.
Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Small Business Leaders Podcast, brought to you by Legacy Podcast Studio in downtown Kernersville. Left out historic, but that's where we're at. And I love it down here very much. My name's Lamar Powell, and this is my lovely co-host, Audra Adams.
Thank you, Lamar.
You're very welcome.
It's so good to be here today, and we are so glad that you're joining us at the table. Today, we have Christina Parrish, and there's a lot to talk about. She is an artist, and she's a business owner, and she's got some very insightful things to share with you today. So with that, let's get started. Christina, welcome to the table. We are so glad that you're with us in our studio here.
Happy to be here.
Great. Glad you're here.
Yeah, we are. You've been instrumental in making some noise here recently.
Yep, they call it chaos. Chaotic.
No, we're not chaotic.
Some words that I've heard about myself.
No. So basically, we have done a podcast with Bruce Frankel on your behalf, and
he's great.
I know he was really great. And for our listeners, Christina, you are an artist, wonderful artist.
I am. Thank you.
Yes, and you do murals. I cannot stand
I'm impressed.
saying that
You
word.
did it.
You did say it.
We're proud
Say
of
it again.
you.
I want to hear it again.
Murals.
Good job.
Good.
I think moo.
Moo.
I think
Moo.
cow, just like my purse. I think that first. But there was some ordinances that our town here had that were preventing you in a certain types of way and hindering some things because they just didn't have anything in place for art.
That's correct. So in this planning process, the town has been involved every step of the way. So this event got started because I think it was Amanda at Kernersville News came across another local artist. Her name is Emily Beach, who is painting the front of C&J Pond with all of the characters that are out there on the window. And she was like, why doesn't Kernersville have more of this? And I was kind of already dabbling in, I feel like it would be really cool if we had a mural festival of our own, because I've seen it done other places and I've applied to those, but why couldn't we have one? So whenever we started the conversation, the town was involved, the chamber was involved, and that's how Bruce got to be on my side and advocate of this project. And moving forward with all of the plans is kind of how I found out about the town's sign ordinance.
Right. And so let's just be pretty constructively clear. So you are a mural artist.
Yes.
That has painted multiple murals in the town of Kernersville and maybe elsewhere.
Yeah, so I work mainly in the Triad. I do have a couple murals in Georgia, but most of my work can be found in Winston-Salem, Kernersville. I have a couple in Greensboro.
And so what you rubbed up against and found out here is that, why don't you tell us? Tell us what
Kernersville doesn't have a public art ordinance, or didn't before this past week. Didn't. They've been working hard to kind of include any type of community, anything that has a plaque on it that the community can enjoy as a part of the ordinance. So because Kernersville didn't have an art ordinance, kind of navigating public art and murals through the lens of a sign ordinance didn't really make sense.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
And so tell us how you prepared and what was your pitch to the alderman of this town.
So the event is the Kernersville Mural Festival featuring Ladies Who Paint. So it's a all-women team of mural artists that were going to come in and paint these murals. Initially, we had 15 sites to paint, and moving forward, we're down to 10 that can be funded. We had 3 installed during the folly. And the pitch was essentially, I had done all the planning and gotten all of the wall donors in place. So all of these locations, I had already spoken with the building owner and the business owner. I had created a list of 45 applicants of artists, and when they applied with kind of a spec sheet of their portfolio. So if you were a wall donor, you could get your spec sheet or the portfolio, and you could pick your top 10 artists.
Oh, wow.
And from
That's cool.
there, they were matched with artists for their walls. For most of the building owners that were participating in this, they didn't really conflict because there were so many different artists to choose from. So very rarely did I have to reach out to one of the building owners and say, okay, I went with choice number 6 because someone else got their choices in first. I also gave precedence. So say you are a building owner and you fully funded your mural to be a part of this. You got to choose your artist that you wanted to paint your mural. But for the majority of this event, I am crowdsourcing the funding for it. So the pitch was I am partnering with the Arts Council in Winston-Salem. So any donation towards this event is going to be a tax write-off, a charitable donation.
Nice.
95% of the funding goes to the artists that are painting the walls, and 5% goes to the Arts Council of Winston-Salem for being my fiscal agent. And so moving forward, say you are a business owner, you donated your wall to this event and it got fully funded, your artist would get paid 50% up front and come up with 3 different designs for you. Those designs were very clear in the beginning, could have nothing to do with your business. No wording associated with your business, just designs that you had talked to your artist about. This is why I chose you. This is what I liked. And you could communicate moving forward in the design process. The artist would provide those building owners with 3 designs to choose from, and then you pick your favorite one, and you could have 2 rounds of revisions after that. So say you picked your favorite one and you wanted a couple of changes, the artist would do that for you, and then the artist gets the final 50% after they paint their mural.
Gotcha. So what I'm really interested in, all of that is so interesting, and I want to dive into, but I want to really understand and help people understand how to navigate something like this should they come up against a sign ordinance. So tell everybody, I know what the issue was, but tell everybody what the town took issue with and that you've had to go up the ladder.
Okay. So moving into phase 1, in the beginning we didn't have phases because I thought maybe we could get all 14 murals fully funded. It was a lofty goal, but we got 5 murals fully funded by different business owners, individuals, families, and went through with the design process. The town was very clear in that they wanted to see the designs.
Okay.
So when we were moving into the week before the event, I sent over all of the designs. I sent over the specs of those designs, how big they were, the locations, the artists, and the sponsors. Some of the sponsors were business level sponsors, so they wanted their business name as sponsored by this business.
On the mural.
On the mural. So if you look at like the Cake and All Things Yummy mural, it'll have my name, and then it will have Cake and All Things Yummy because they paid for that mural. That is
Which
called.
I love that one.
Thank
by
you.
The way.
It's called an on-premise sign. So to have the name of your business outside of your business is an on-premise sign. Kernersville before this didn't allow off-premise signage anywhere. It was just not accepted.
Okay.
So say Legacy Podcast wanted to sponsor a mural outside of Little Brother Brewing, it could not say your business name on the outside of a different business. It wasn't allowed.
Okay.
So it was like hard stop. How can I apply for the exception? There's no way to apply. Who do I need to talk to? There's no one to talk to. It's just the end.
So how did you navigate that?
I cried a little bit. I was very sad. Just coming up against that kind of like hard stop, you can't move forward, I had to then call the business level sponsors who were expecting a mural to be installed that week with their name on it, and say the town won't allow it. And the mayor was very clear that if we had decided to move forward and just do it anyway, that the building owner would be fined daily until it was removed. So it wasn't necessarily like, we'll do it anyway. There's no way for me to get around it. It's just the hard stop.
Right.
And so then I contacted all these sponsors, many of which decided to not move forward with their sponsorship.
No.
Because that's the whole point, is cause marketing. Like, yeah,
Right.
we want to pay for this. We want to donate it to the town. Right. But we also want to be recognized for that. And I don't blame them one bit.
Right.
So we went from 5 murals fully funded down to 3. And some of that funding came right out of my pocket, but it's okay. Right. So moving forward, we now have 10 murals left to fund. And based off of the fallout from that, I went back to the aldermen, talked to them about what's going on, talked to them about what other states do, sent them some research. The town has moved forward with proposing an amendment to the sign ordinance, to the town's UDO in general, which incorporates community art, and it allows for a sponsor.
Nice. So is it into like law now or no?
It will be. So the hope is that, so after the August 5th alderman meeting, it went in front of the planning board on August 11th, and it is comprehensive. They did such a great job. They talked about painted signage. They talked about ghost murals, so murals that were once on the side of buildings that are no longer. They talked about historic murals. Like, it encompasses everything, and it is so well written and so well thought of. So it went in front of the planning board on August 11th, and I actually don't know the result of the planning board voting on that, but it should go back in front of the aldermen during their September meeting for the final vote, where it will be law.
So I love all that, and I appreciate you explaining all of that. I think it's very important.
Was it confusing?
No, it wasn't.
Actually,
it's not
no.
confusing
Okay,
because
I jump around a lot.
I know I've been keeping up with it, and I appreciated Bruce being with us and explaining, because he was a very strong advocate for that and for
Absolutely.
you. And I just want to say personally, I love Kernersville, and I'm grateful that you took this on originally. I hate that it didn't work out originally the way you wanted it to, but I'm glad we're moving forward with it, because I think it is such an important thing for a community to have these murals. And I want to share with you the one that you have down by the bakery. The other day I was passing by, I saw some young adults out there taking their pictures in front of it, and it warmed my heart.
No, I've done that with my grandbaby and
yes.
my daughters. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a picture of you that's on your social media as well of that. That to me is really great, and I would love to see that multiplied several times. And we kind of talked about that on that other episode as well.
Yeah,
So thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that it's a big deal for feeling homey, feeling like, hey, this is not just a sterile community, that we have, some flair and some different purposes. And I love that. I think it brings pedestrians. I think it brings tourism, and if you're going to walk downtown or drive to see them, there's so many shops that you're going to naturally go into. The bakery, you're going to naturally go into that. So it's just a plus. I don't see a downside to it at all.
I think that the biggest downside that I heard out of all of like the community talking about it is they thought that by having an amendment that includes public art, that people would just start painting every single wall.
Yeah.
And I think that was the hole that was missing, is that people could do that anyway without that. So if they hadn't put it in place and I wanted to go paint go paint something like profanity on a wall that I had permission to paint, that I was paid to paint, they couldn't say anything about it. And that was the biggest hole in this, is that people were scared of the growth of incorporating art into an ordinance But by not including it, it left so many things up in the air.
So some common sense decisions have been made
Correct.
to help us move forward. So what I want to know is, in dealing with all of this, I'm sure your ears have been filled with all kinds of opinions, and I can only imagine the majority of those opinions about all of this have to be positive.
Majority is positive, yeah. Majority of the opinions that I've heard are positive. I don't think that the people that have negative opinions have really been inserting themselves into the conversation too much. I have had a couple negative comments on social media, but it's...
And what is that about? Without because I'm just curious.
Well, hold on. We just had a race go on outside of our building.
It's one of those negative opinions.
Hope you could hear that.
Right.
All right.
I don't want to. There's been one person that comments or puts like a thumbs down or like an angry face, and it's just someone in our community that's...
let's talk about. I understand that.
Yeah.
Social media is filled with that kind of nonsense, but the thing and the way. At first we talked about it as being some controversy, but we don't want to approach it that way. We approached
it's not controversial.
It's a conversation that we need to have to move forward, because we want our town to look good. We want our downtown to look good and be awesome, a great place to visit. We want it to grow and be a popular thing. So, have you received any constructive criticism per se?
In the way that I've approached the situation by the aldermen, yes, I have, but that's from them. But for me, whenever I think about like what's going on in art in our community, I look at it from a problem-solving standpoint. So for me, the problem was, how can we get more art in our community? The solution was, let the community solve that. The community can be a part of it, and not only can the community be a part of like the fundraising, but the community can be a part of watching it being put up on the walls during one of the biggest festivals that we've got. And so like moving forward into that problem solving, I don't really see that many people looking at it as a problem.
Right.
I was solving the problem that I faced, but I don't really see too many community members saying like the art is the problem,
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
I think more of what I'm learning, or the moral of the mural story.
Ooh.
I did it.
You did it.
You said moral and mural.
I know.
That's impressive.
I know. I'm trying, guys. Is, to me, of how you make steps to change the city's opinion, or it would be the city of Kernersville. Am I right on that?
Right,
Yeah,
but they're
Kernersville.
also limited to their ordinance. So, I could yell and scream into the void as much as I wanted to about how disappointed I was in the process, but if I didn't go through the proper channels to initiate change, then I would just have to toss the idea in the trash.
And that's definitely what I'm saying. You step by step. You just didn't stop.
Yeah.
You just moved in the right way, in the legality of it. You walked through there, and you didn't. I would guess you didn't know anything about having to make steps like you just have had to make.
Correct.
And you had to
ask
learn
a lot of questions.
Yes, and I think that corresponds to any new business. I can look at that as a business thing, because you are raising money, you are paying the artist. You have a foundation of how this thing stacks upon each other. And that's very much like starting from scratch in your own business and being an entrepreneur. And that's what we want to let our listeners understand is, hey, if you see a problem, there might be a very good solution if you just ask more questions, if you want to have conversation and then problem solving. There is a way to do it instead of just folding your arms and saying, just not gonna.
And they'll listen. The aldermen will listen. It might take a couple meetings, but they'll listen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've learned a lot in the process, and I know that me coming out with my guns blazing was not probably the right way to approach things, but people started to listen. I didn't back down, and now we have a change. The alternate thing that could have happened is they could have still said no, and then we would just not have business level sponsors would have been the answer. So that could have been the result.
Sure.
And by saying that this is a hole that we have to fill, and Bruce said you can't put a square peg into a round hole, which is basically what they were doing with the signage and public art, or they call it outdoor community. I'm blanking on it now. They're not calling it public art, because a lot of times public art is funded by the town, and that might be a route that they take eventually. But right now it's outdoor community art. So I forgot where I was going.
Well, it's fine.
That's fine.
Move along.
You basically the nuts and bolts of it is you could still take the journey that you take, and they could still say no.
Correct. Yeah.
But the fact is, if you're, I'm going to say the word. Are you ready? The one we talked about. If you're passionate about something, if you're passionate about something, still take the steps and just see where you land. Okay.
Is passion a difficult word?
No,
Okay.
it's just.
No, it's an inside joke because
Yeah.
we're related to one another, and I use that word quite a bit.
So
And when I sent notes to her,
it was like 4
you
times.
used the word passion way too many times. I said, that's just in the notes.
No, and then we were getting ready for this before, and I was like, okay, what do you want to ask or whatever? And he said passion like 6 times. I was like, okay, listen, maybe 3 times in the whole interview.
And I asked you for another word, and you couldn't give me one, so
we
it's
did.
on you.
Me and Daniel
No,
both
you
did.
You didn't give me another
Oh
word.
my goodness.
Well,
You gave me some churchy word I didn't like. So.
Oh, you went there. Wow.
People have described me as passionate, but I also ride the fine line between like passionate versus professional, and I sometimes lean a little bit more towards passionate than professional. So I know that about myself. So.
Fair to say.
Yeah.
So
We understand that because that's what it takes a lot of times to get things done. I've seen you passionate about things.
Oh yeah.
That's why you can get things done. You have to have that because if you don't, a lot of times you're not going to succeed. You're going to give up.
Yeah, and
so that's a great word.
it is a great word, just not 6
Well,
times.
I want to say thank you for walking this through, and I'm very hopeful the end result will be what it needs to be for Kernersville.
I hope so.
Because this is an awesome place.
Yeah,
I use that word a lot too.
Yeah, but it was okay. You haven't
Thank you.
talked too much this time. So when is the Mural Festival?
So phase 2 is going to be November 14th through 16th that weekend, and then artists will have 2 weeks after that to finish their murals, get them wrapped up.
Wow.
So hopefully we can get some more funding for the next 10 murals to be funded. We've got $240 towards, we need about $60,000. So like there is a lofty goal in place. So we need to kind of wrap in a few more sponsors to make even one mural happen.
Like, if I may, and if you're comfortable with answering, if not, it's okay. What typically is the cost of one?
So the cheapest, I want to say least expensive mural on our list is just over $3,000. So we are paying murals $35 a square foot to paint their murals. So it depends on the size of the mural.
Okay,
Gotcha.
nice. There's another, like a little birdie told me that you are opening a brick and mortar.
I am. Me and my husband are opening a business called the Open Studio, and it's going to be down here in the factory.
That is so awesome. We'll be neighbors.
We will be neighbors.
So tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that. What's your plans for that?
So the Open Studio is going to be a multi-purpose event space focused on the visual arts. So we've got the bottom floor down there in the courtyard area. So there's a lot of different rooms that we're going to be utilizing for different purposes. The main event space is going to be called the Gallery Event Space, and it's going to be perfect for like off-site meetings, bridal showers, baby showers, small birthdays, events like
Cool.
that. The back half is going to be focused more on the visual arts, and we're going to have a private artist studio so artists can rent the space and come work on their own artwork, and then a community art room as well. So all of that is going to be in our first phase as soon as we open, and the community art room will be perfect for like homeschool groups, sip and paints, any types of art class.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That is really great.
I'm excited about that.
I'm very
am
excited
too.
myself.
That is
I am.
great.
How close are you to opening?
So our goal is to be open at the beginning of September, at least for the gallery event space. We're hoping to have the gallery event space and the community art room ready for booking starting in September. The other rooms that we have planned, we have a small photo studio planned. We have a music practice room where we'll have a piano where musicians can come practice their music. And so those are going to be later on down the road.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
I want to. Can we go back? Just backtrack just a minute.
I mean, I'm not your mother.
Thank
I'm
God.
down with jumping around. Like, that's what my brain
No,
does
we don't
anyway.
have to jump. No, I think it's all relevant to
Yeah.
this. So,
I love you. Can I?
Yeah.
Yes, it's your show. Half of it.
okay. So, how did you get to Kernersville?
My
And
husband's job.
His job.
His job, yeah. My husband's job brought us here, and I was an educator in the public school system.
Okay. And why art? Was that what you? Is that what
I
you
taught
did?
art. Yes.
You taught art.
Taught art for 12 years.
And you spent a little bit of time in Baton Rouge. You told me before
A little
we
bit of time.
started, just a little bit of time.
I like to
And-
collect degrees, so like, I have a little bit of education from a lot of different places,
Yes.
including right here in Kernersville with the Alderman.
Well, good.
Who taught you art? Or you just went to school for that?
I did.
Okay.
So I kind of always loved art growing up and like took art classes in high school. I went to college and studied studio art at Georgia Southern.
Okay.
And when I graduated with that degree, I had a minor in humanities and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I thought, maybe I'll teach art history in college. So I went to LSU for a little while to get
Go
my master's in
Tigers.
art history. And then I quickly decided that wasn't the degree for me. So I wanted to do art education after that to become a teacher. And LSU had just stopped that
Oh, no.
that diploma. So I went back to Georgia and went to UGA and got my master's in art education there. And I started teaching right after that.
For how many degrees you have, you don't look old enough to have them.
Thank you. I also have a partial MFA. I went back to school after my second year teaching and just
What else do you want?
Just a little. If I could be a professional student, that's what I would do. I would just join a college and stay forever enrolled.
So,
Really? You're the
Yeah.
only person I've ever talked to that.
I enjoy
Says
being in
that.
the classroom. Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
yeah. I know my daughter's a UNCG student in biology, but her minor's
Art.
in art. So
a good
yeah, she
minor.
comes up with some
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, very
She's
awesome
very
stuff.
talented.
I'm,
Very
we're
talented.
really proud of her for sure.
Well, I just want to say thank you as well for all that you're doing. And I believe the Open Studio, as it comes and your visions come to pass and make that the reality, I think that is going to be a wonderful addition to Kernersville and to everyone here. And the Mural I almost
You got
it.
mural.
You got
though.
mural.
Mural Festival is absolutely, that's just the coolest thing ever. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited about it. I love your social media. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great to see that. Also, huge shout out again to Bruce.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Amazing conversation
advocate.
with him. Very
Yeah.
great advocate for you. Loves art, loves our community. I like that. And then we have another podcast coming up soon with Chris Agee with Scope
yeah.
News. I really want to give a big shout out to him as well
Absolutely.
because Chris has covered this very well. That's really what captured my attention at the beginning, reading his, I think in several parts he's done this and an advocate for you as well.
He's great.
Yeah,
So I think
really
part
good.
of what's behind all this is like when a community member says, why don't we have this?
Yeah.
To know the steps or the reasons behind why we don't have those things. So a lot of times when we say, why don't we have more community art, or why don't we have a bookstore, or why don't we have a deli, or there are so many things that happen in the course of business ownership that the community doesn't know about. So I felt like this is something that the community deserved to know about. And I think Chris
Absolutely.
did an excellent job in covering it.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Well, this is not the last that we'll see of you, literally, because you're leaving an indelible mark on our little city here, our little town.
you.
I love it. So maybe we'll have you back in the future and show
Hopefully we
more
can
of
talk
it.
about all the murals that got funded for
Ah,
phase 2.
yes.
I think it'd be great. And hopefully that will, I mean, now that these changes have come into place, that will help with some of the funding, business funding, and not get the rug pulled out.
Right. And
like
I don't
last
think I
time.
even told you the solution is that they're allowing for a plaque, and the plaque can have the business name on
Yeah,
the
I think that was the
artwork.
goal,
Yeah,
ultimately,
that's-
to be able to get that. And I think that's
Yes.
only fair. Somebody is putting forth that money to help with our community. We need to promote that. I want to know who that is.
Yeah,
Yeah, who-
absolutely.
who's paid for that?
Also, will you tell us now if somebody wants to give to this cause, where they would go to give?
So right now the fiscal agency is with the Arts Council of Winston-Salem. So if you search the Arts Council of Winston-Salem's website, they have a tab that is their fiscal agency tab. Or you can go to my website and just search Christina Parrish Art. I have it all linked throughout social media and my website as well. But the main website is through the Arts Council of Winston-Salem. And you can go and you can find our project. It says Kernersville Mural Festival. You can click on it. You can see the sponsorship tiers. And at the bottom of the page, it'll say make a donation or you can mail a check. And it has all of that information on that website.
And what is
Nice.
your website?
My website is ChristinaParrishArt.com.
Okay. All right.
Easy enough.
Yep.
Well, thank you again.
Absolutely.
And with that is our episode. Friends, check out Legacy Podcast Studio. Check out ChristinaParrishArt.com. We are on all the socials. And if you would like to be a guest on this particular show, reach out to us. And if you have guest ideas, we want to hear that too. What do you want to hear about? So we're ready to sit and talk.
Yes, we are.
Even
Absolutely.
yeah, even there. So have a good day, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.